When I was starting out, I didn't really appreciate the price I would have to pay for my principles. 2 years ago, I initiated a conversation with a potential client about doing business together. In the initial conversations were quite positive. He suggested we have a second meeting with his colleagues and his project manager. And the second meeting went quite well, was going quite well. I was really positive about the outcome of the meeting. But toward the end of the meeting, they kind of alluded to the fact that I would need to grease their palms in order to get this business. I was kind of confused and taken aback. I wasn't expecting it at all. And I didn't even know how to answer it. I ended up muttering something along the lines of, let's chat about this next week. As I was driving back, I was thinking about, the nature of our business environment recently. I remember that when I took a decision to go into entrepreneurship, I made a decision with myself that I would not involve myself in any corrupt activities. Firstly, because of my biblical stance on it as a Christian. But secondly, because of the corrosive effect that it has on our society. This was a personal decision. And so it was a no-brainer for me that I would have to get back to these guys and disappoint them. So on the Monday, I give them a call, and I let the guy know that I can't do what they'd like me to do. But they were adamant that the only way I was going to get the business is if I gave them a stake in the business. And unfortunately, we parted ways without any kind of definite conclusion. I prayed about it for a while and fasted. 2-3 weeks go by, I give them a call, and they were still adamant that the only way is if there was grease being exchanged. And I was still adamant that there would be no grease exchange, and I did this in the most respectful and diplomatic way. I ended up giving up on the business, but I still prayed about it. Another week went by. I think in totality about 2 months go by. I get a call from the CEO of the company who I'd never met. And she told me that she would now be handling the business. And she was really excited to get me on board. Within a week, she had transferred about 50% of the invoice, and we started working together. And I've had the business relationship till this day. And I didn't have to grease any palms. What this taught me is, number one, the most important thing is that God is our provider. Not our connections, not the procurement manager or whatever other hustling we have to do, but that God is our source. And we have to trust Him, even if it means that we lose millions in the process. Because He is interested in doing business with us. That's number one. Number two, it taught me that we don't have to do things just because everybody else is doing it and are successful at it. There's a narrative that's going around in our generation currently that principles and success are mutually exclusive. That somehow you have to either choose to be ethical and successful. You can't have both. But I believe that's false. And I believe that as an independent human beings, while other people can choose another route, and I respectfully, appreciate that, I myself can choose another route for myself. I do appreciate, and I know this personally, that I have lost a lot of money and a lot of opportunities because of this stance. But I appreciate that it will take me longer to achieve certain things. And I'm fine with that because it's the consequences of the route that I've taken. A mentor of mine once said that you have freedom of choice, but you don't have freedom of consequences. And these are the consequences of the route I have chosen. Each and every one of us has to deal with the consequences of our choice.